Hey kids, it's Mr. and Fly here, how you doing? Nice to be talking to you again. Just a very quick video today, something a bit different. The observant ones out there, and I know there are a few of you, oh hello gravel, let's watch that, will have noticed that I'm not on the usual steed. I'm on something a bit different today. I had to take my Street Triple R in for its annual service today, and by way of a loan bike and to get me back home again while they're doing the work, I've been lent this brand new Triumph Bonneville. So just been out and about for a little bit for a ride on it. It's only done 1500 miles, so it's nice and new, even though it looks quite old. So yeah, I've been wanting to ride one of these for a while, so I thought I'd just do a very quick 5-minute review. So I'll find somewhere to stop, share what the bike looks like, and then we'll go for a ride. Speak to you in a moment. So here she is in all her glory. As you can see, it's the courtesy bike of the Triumph dealer that I've taken my bike to. It's a 2013 Triumph Bonneville. I believe they're 865cc. I think they might be kind of badged as 900. Obviously retro style naked bike. I have to say it's quite nice to ride. Obviously nowhere near as pokey as my other bikes, but the engine is a real peach. It's a triple. Let's come in there. Not a triple, sorry, a twin, of course. And they've done their best to make it look kind of retro with these sort of partial air cooling fins, which I assume are partially functional. We've got a radiator on the front as well, so it's obviously liquid cooled. It's got a pretend carburettor where the fuel injection system lives, which is quite fun. Around the front, great badge work. I love all that to make it look old. Around the front, a decent headlight, and then on the side here, this little bit that looks like a choke is actually an idle control. It just lets it idle faster when you're warming her up, so that's quite fun. And yeah, there she is. I think she's around about 76 brake horsepower, so compared to my Street Triple, which I think is about 106, it's way down on power, but it's got lots of torque. So yeah, it's a real peach to ride. So let's start her up. All the classic normal Triumph switchgear. This all looks very familiar to me. There we go. Quite a nice twin rumble, but if I had one of these I would definitely replace those pipes with something a bit more throaty, because in fact when you're moving you can barely hear the engine, and one of the joys of this sort of bike surely would be to enjoy that sort of thrub sound that old Triumphs are famous for. Okay, so that's what she looks like. She could do with a clean, I think, in the short time that the garage has owned it. No one's ever cleaned it, which is a shame. Anyway, let's take it for a ride. So first thing that I noticed when I first rode her this morning, that the gear shift lever is in a very different position to what I'm used to. You have to really reach for it, but once you're used to it, that's absolutely fine. In terms of the go of the bike, it's by no means as sporty as either my Tiger or my Street Triple R. It's a much more relaxed, lazy sort of bike. And cruising along here, what we're doing 40 miles an hour, it's absolutely fabulous. Sitting up in this riding position, nice and comfy. The seat is very, very low indeed. So even though the bike goes quite heavy, I think around about 230 odd kilograms, it feels very, very light. I think the weight is low down and that makes all the difference. So she rides very nicely. The engine is particularly sweet. Things I immediately don't like about it, a couple of things. One is the brakes are, again, if you're used to a sports bike or something a little bit more sporty, then you're going to find the brakes pretty poor. I don't know whether it's just this one, these new pads or something, but the front brakes are almost non-existent. Well, it's not that bad, it does stop. I suppose they're up for the job in hand, but compared to my Street Triple, absolutely in a different league. And similarly, acceleration is not, it's not going to wrench your arms out your sockets like my other bikes try to. But it's ample. I mean, you know, let's face it, it's not a small bike, getting on for 900cc, and there's loads of torque, so you can change up on, I think I'm in about 4th now, and you can just pull away pretty much in any gear, so it's a lovely, lovely lazy ride. I think I mentioned the seat height is very, very low, which is good and bad. It's great in that it means it's extremely easy to handle the bike when you've stopped. It feels very friendly. This would be a great bike, I think, for a beginner rider, because there's enough power there to give you fun. But because of the low seat height and the easy ability to move the thing around, It's very confidence inspiring. There's nothing unfriendly about this bike. When you ride along, it doesn't feel like it's about to spit you off or throw you out or do something funny. So yeah, great bike I think if you're just starting out in bikes again, or revisiting, or if you just want a bike for lazy cruising, then this is the way to go. So anyway, number one, brakes aren't too great. The back brake, funnily enough, is very good. Oh hello, there's another biker. Give him a nod. Hello sir. The back brake, oddly enough, which you don't use much of course when you're biking, is very good on it. So that's interesting. What else don't I like? The handling is good actually. Overall, I've enjoyed riding it today. I've probably done about 60 or 70 miles on it. And the handling generally is good. But you can't go chucking it into corners like you would, again, something a bit more sporty. I suppose it's not surprising really. It's not that sort of bike. It's very much a retro cool, posy type bike, I guess. And if you're keeping it at low speeds like this, again, I'm just doing 40 now around these bends, then it's absolutely lovely and relaxing. Can't be beaten. So I love the idea of a retro bike. I've been thinking for a while about whether my next bike should be something along these lines. They do various flavours of the Bonneville. They do a scrambler version I quite like, and the Thruxton, which is a cafe racer version, which I particularly like. I think the Thruxton with some aftermarket pipes would be really good fun. I think the Thruxton's slightly up on horsepower on the standard bike as well, so it'd be a bit more pokey, so that would be quite nice. But anyway, back to this one. So overall, yeah, really enjoyed it. If you're in the market for a retro bike, can't see anything really wrong with it at all. The engine, as I say, is its strong point. It's an absolute peach. It sounds lovely slowly. It's just not very loud, so some aftermarket pipes definitely on the cards. The low seat height is fantastic, and it's relatively comfortable. I don't know on a long run how comfortable it would be. The seat feels quite hard, and also the peg position, because it's a low seat, the pegs are quite up close to your body, if you see what I mean. So you feel a little bit cramped. Although it's quite a big bike, I do feel as if I'm a bit cramped up on it. I don't know what's going on here. Should have gone when I had the chance. Thank you, sir. She sounds lovely when you're just pulling away like that, but you don't have to go very fast, and then the wind noise just overwhelms that lovely parallel twin engine. So what else is there to say about the Bonneville? Well, I didn't talk about the instrumentation and the switchgear here. You know, everything's here that you need. I guess another downside about it is, well, number one, there's no rev counter, but let's face it, you don't really need one of those on a bike like this. You're not going to go thrashing around and need to know where your red line is, so that's no great loss in my view. I love the sort of retro looking speedo. More of an omission, I think, is the lack of any sort of fuel gauge. That's a downer. I don't have one of those on my street triple either, and I find that a right nuisance. Why they don't do that, I don't know. There is a fuel light that comes on, but that's not as good as a proper fuel gauge in my mind. What else about it? I think that's it. Otherwise, it's all good. As I say, I love the look of that speedo, the retro look. Oh, the other thing that's has been catching me out a little bit is I think it's only a 5-speed gearbox. I've not been counting, but it doesn't have any sort of gear position indicator, which I know not that many bikes have, but I do like that. I like to know what gear I'm in. So once or twice going along on some faster roads, I have tried to change her up into top gear that was non-existent. So that's quite interesting. But otherwise, that's not an issue. I mean, the bike just purrs along, and as I mentioned before, it's so torquey, this engine. You can just basically stick it in top and just ride around in that all day if you wanted, and it probably wouldn't complain. I haven't done any high speed riding on this video because there's not any suitable roads really, but I did go on a more major road earlier, and she cruises along at 80 miles an hour, no problem at all. No problem with the wind. I mean, I'm obviously used to unfared bikes. Absolutely no problem at all, and it seemed fairly relaxed. I don't think she would cruise much faster than that, but then, you know, why do you need to cruise any faster than that? So no problems there for a bit of motorway work, although you may want to plan your overtakes if you're going at those sorts of speeds. Anyway, I think that's about it. That's all I've got to say. Hope the video has been of some use to you. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. So until next time, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.